Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the technical trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Wednesday, January 25th. These are the charts of the day. A really solid rally this afternoon after a very ugly opening on pre-market futures being sharply lower. Markets did very well, came back above certain resistance levels and closed without what I consider, even though they were mixed at the end, they were way off the lows and the technicals were pretty solid today. But individually, a lot of stocks we follow and some of the stocks we have as swings are doing great. AEHR is one of them, which had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe a fifth wave already. So perhaps going from 17 to 36 is enough. But this is a new all-time high, and it's at the top of the channel. So I would caution everybody up here. One of two things should happen: either a blow-off into the mid-40s or a pullback retest in the 30 range, maybe even down to 27, 28. So be careful here. Atnf, long downtrend, followed by a plunge. Saw it go to 118 and then explode up to 715, nearly a seven-fold increase in a couple weeks before the falling wedge on low volume. Today it popped and smoked at 25.9 million shares, closed at 432, up 115, 36% gain. I'm now looking for a test of the resistance up here near 7. AUPH, another spectacular biotech stock that was a big winner and ran all the way up into the mid-30s, dropping down to 4 by December. Rally back from 407 was spectacular, up to 9.5 before the pullback recently, and now another snapback underway. Key resistance now 9 3/4. We get to that, we're looking at 11 and 12 1/4. COSM, big move in November, 172 to 21, believe it or not, and then a long falling wedge decline over a couple months that took it down all the way back to 3 before the recent pop and pullback and then pop again. Today was up another 7%, 25 million share traded. It looks like a stock that with momentum, 9.5 and 11 are targets. CVAC, very similar, another biotech with a long decline. This is a stock that was trading in the 130 range, had 4 or 5 tops in that zone, and it dropped all the way down to 5 and change. The low on December 27th was 563. Within a week or two, it was up to 1279 and then pulled back into the gap, but it didn't fill it. Instead, it popped back up again from the 3-day flag or wedge and popped out. Today was a big day for it. 996 to 11 1/4, finished 1110, up 87 cents. An 8.5% gain, 856,000. Pretty decent vibe, but not spectacular. I'm now looking to see if it can retest 13 again or 12 3/4. DMTK, another big biotech diagnostic research company that dropped from 83 to under 2 from a low of 155 on December 27th. This one ripped to a high yesterday of 644 after pulling back for one day. It's coming on yet again. There's some key resistance at 7 and 8 3/4. Those are your targets going forward if momentum takes it that far. EHTH, a tech trader swing. After popping out and pulling back, we put a swing on it. It then meandered for about 3 weeks and consolidated and then broke out. Tagged the first target and pulled back. Your next target is 8.5 and 9.5, maybe even 10.5 at some point. Great pop today, 9.9 million shares, up more than 30%. In the silver sector, junior silver stock Fortuna has been really solid, and you can see that the downtrend in silver and gold lasted quite a long time. But this stock finally broke out in November, pulled back, platformed, and today made another 7 or 8 month high, up about 7 1/4%. Next target is 465.75 and then 5.5. Icpt with a big pop today, jumped from 1594 to 1877, finished at the upper end of the range, 1858 up 260, a 16% gain. Volume was solid but not huge. There is still a lot of resistance up in this zone, but my target going forward is 20 and a half. We get through that, we're looking at 23.4. JNUG, I wanted a participation in the gold sector. I added this to the swing trades today. Look, this stock really broke out back in November and then again in early January. But I've waited for the recent breakout to go long with targets in the high 50s, high 60s. KOLD has been spectacular, running from the pullback low in December at 1280 to today's high at 48.78. That's a 300% move in about 6 weeks. It's overbought, yes, but it's just breaking out today. So I'm thinking maybe we get into the mid to high 50s before it pops back. LRN with a spectacular explosive move today on a strong earnings report, went from 35.5 to 42 nearly, and backed off to 40.85 at the close, but it was still up a spectacular 28% today on 4.3 million, which is the biggest volume we've seen since last July. And now thinking extension, and it takes it into the mid 40s. NINE, a swing trader, a tech trader swing, had pulled back to test price, moving average, and trendline support, all of which held, and the stock reversed with an engulfing bar today. 1201 to 1379, finished 1362, up 116 or 9%, 9.3%. Volume was 2.2 million, but it looks to me like we're headed for retest of 17 and then close to 20. In the silver sector, swing Pan American Silver continues to edge higher, up another small fraction today, but the highest close we've seen on it since back in August. I'm now looking for 21.5 and 24 as your next targets. Pacific Bio, after doing a secondary last night, the stock dropped all the way down at 10.11 and then reversed to 10.11.64, finishing up 80 cents on a day. 18.5 million is the biggest volume we've seen since it exploded in last August. I'm looking for a retest of the double top at 12.5 and then 14.5. PLRX, 3 days ago, exploded on big volume, going from the low 20s to the mid 30s, and then backed off. But it held a gap for 2 days in a row now, which is across the top of the channel top. This looks to me like a stock that wants to be higher. 42, 43, my target. PTGX, after a big drop, it saw it go from 50 down to 7. The stock paced out for about 8 or 9 months, broke out and wedged and popped again. My target's now mid-channel 15, upper channel 18.5, gap fill. Shopify, beautiful base. Broke out and pulled back yesterday, but I was waiting to see if it would reverse, and it did today. After filling the gap, it went from 41 to 49, finished 47.5, up 489, 11.5%. And volume was a spectacular 62 million, the biggest volume in 3 months. I'm now looking for a run to 56.7. SILV, another junior silver stock along with FSM. Interested in it because of today's breakout. Take a look at the move. It went up about 8.4%. Volume picked up to 2.4 million. I'm now looking for a move probably towards about 8.25 and eventually 9.5, 3/4. TOST was added today. I like the overall look of this stock. It's been a spectacular. It was a software stock that went from 70 down to 11 and 12 zone and ran up to about 20 and back and filled here for a few months. It's moving sharply again. It looks like it's going to break out. My target's to 24 and 30. And finally, wheat and precious metals, the big bear in the silver sector. When I say bear, this the big elephant in the silver sector, biggest purveyor of silver, which has gone from 28.62 to 46 and change in the last 4 months. Had a solid day today, up another 82 cents, and at the highest close since May. The next targets are 51.2 and 56.7. And that's a look at some of the hot stocks at thetechtrader.com. Good night, everybody.